about Biden being president now, supposedly, him being president now, and how do we hold politicians accountable, right? So this article I found interesting. So the Black Lives Matter co-founder. Now, keep it in mind, I'm I have been critical of Black Lives Matter. I've been weary of their ultimate goal. When I initially went to their About You page, after somebody hit me to the fact that a lot of the shit on their About You page makes it seem as if they want to deconstruct the normal family nucleus, meaning woman, man, child, and kind of replace that with a more of an LGBTQ agenda. And I'll be honest, when I went to the website, the wording almost made it sound like they want to dismantle the typical family unit to create one where homosexuality and lesbianism is more included in that. And I don't have anything against our lesbian sisters and brothers, or our lesbian sisters, our homosexual brothers. I don't have anything against them. I just don't like when the LGBTQ movement is politicized and put in a situation where you almost can't say anything about them. You can't if you don't like the fact that two men have sex with each other. If you say it, then all of a sudden you're ostracized. If you say it, there's some type of trouble coming your way, whether you an entertainer or just a regular motherfucker. I don't like that, right? But I have to say, if an organization like Black Lives Matter is doing anything for our community to move the needle forward, to get rid of some of this systematic injustice that we face, I'll give anybody the benefit of the doubt. You feel me? So, Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrice Cullors sent a letter to President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, congratulating the pair on their electoral victory and calling for the development of a fully resourced agenda that addresses the challenges Black people face. Now, in the letter dated November 7th, Colliers called for a meeting with Biden and Harris to discuss the administration's commitment to Black people. Colliers noted that although Donald Trump's demise is to be celebrated, it does not guarantee that the conditions facing Black people will improve. Now, given the Black community's support of the Biden-Harris ticket, Colliers called for the administration to make addressing the issues faced by Black people a top priority. Without the resounding support of Black people, we would be saddled with a very different electoral outcome. In short, Black people won this election, is what she says. I'm not sure about that completely, but I mean, she could be right. We want something for our vote. Now, about 87% of Black Americans voted for Biden, while 12% voted for Trump. Colliers also noted that the Black community has historically been extremely loyal to the Democratic Party. Colliers said Black Americans are living in crisis and that the devaluation and devastation of lives cannot continue. Okay. Yeah, that's all I want to say about that. So yes, the co-founder of Black Lives Matter, sent a letter to the new president saying basically, create a Black agenda. So this is what I think about that. That's a good idea. Yes, so I'm with y'all. Of course, whoever's in office needs to have a Black agenda, which we are of the understanding now that no president before him has actually had a Black agenda. So sometimes I'm not too hopeful that a president is actually going to put policies and procedures in place that are going to affect us on a large scale. Sometimes you get small steps, but at this point we need a goddamn large step to get us where we need to go, right? So here's my thing about it, man. Wouldn't you demand a politician give you something before you give him your vote? Because it's my understanding, if you just give them your vote, now they got your vote, why they got to do anything? Right? And people always tell me, and I've been curious, y'all can hit me to this. Tell somebody in the comments, whoever watching this video, give me details on how the fuck do you hold a politician accountable? That shit sounds good, but how the fuck do you do it? Like, this is what I would think. Because I even read some articles about, how do you hold a politician accountable? You know what it said? You vote him in, then you hold his feet to the fire. What the fuck does hold his feet to the fire mean? He got your vote already. He ain't got to do shit. Right? So if you vote for a politician and he's not doing what you want him to do, you can call up there, you can march, and you can protest. That ain't gonna do shit, family. This is what I think we should do. I don't know how feasible this is as black folks. But I think next presidential election, before that, so we got 4 years, right? Let's say that in the next 2 or 3 years, we create like Black Lives Matter or any other organization that is inclusive with all of us, and we raise money. We raise money, 10 million, 12 million, 15 million, 5 million, however we can come up with. We raise money and we tell the politician that is about to be president or whoever, hey, we got this money for you, but before we give you this money, this is the things we want done. Now, keep in mind, dealing with politics, all of this shit is risky, right? Because you can give them your money and they still don't do shit for you. But I would say, how about we put ourselves in the best position possible to get something that we actually want? Because to me, because lobbying and all these different things play a role in politics, if I'm a presidential candidate and I'm getting donations from these different groups of people, and these different groups of people are asking me to do particular things, I think I'll be a little more keen to help them out opposed to the group of people who actually gave me nothing but a goddamn vote, right? Because once you get in office, I don't see how we are to hold them accountable. I remember when Obama was becoming president and Mexican Americans came together, like a lot of Mexican and Hispanic rather, entertainers, just regular folk, they came together and raised a particular amount of money and they gave it to Obama. I personally think that had a lot to do with him creating an agenda to help them specifically. When Obama was president, if you would have went to his website, he had an LGBTQ agenda and he had a goddamn immigrant agenda. No black agenda, but he had an agenda for the two group of people who, under my understanding, both gave him money as campaign donations or however you phrase it, but they gave the man money to do their bidding opposed to just giving their goddamn vote. So even though I respect anybody black saying that they want to participate in the political structure in an effort to help us out, keeping in mind that, in my opinion, of course, there has been small gains throughout the time we've been in this country, but there hasn't been any major steps to rectifying the disenfranchisement of black and melanated people in this country. There just hasn't, right? So I'm really weary when trying to come to the table with any presidential candidate, because in my opinion, most of them, if not all of them, hasn't done anything substantial that I can look at today. Because when I look at the neighborhood I grew up in, that shit looks the same. When I look at the schools and the environment I grew up in, that shit looks the same. Now, I know politics is a real convoluted conversation and a lot of moving pieces, but at the end of the day, we haven't really got shit from a president, in my opinion, right? So I respect what the sister's trying to do, but I don't know if this is, I don't know how a president is going to look at this kind of request when, again, they don't have to. So like I said, I have my differences, my small differences with Black Lives Matter in how the organization seems to operate at times. But again, if you're a black, and this is how I feel now, family, if you're a black organization in America and you put your best foot forward to help us out, I'm going to appreciate that, because like I always say, I know a lot of black folks who don't give a shit about our struggle, who don't care anything about their family, their immediate circumstances. So when I see people who say, look, whether I'm gay, whether I'm lesbian, whether I'm whatever, I want black people to succeed. I want black people to get from up under the thumb of white supremacy. I'm fucking with that, regardless of what your organization is based in. Now, that's a code thing right there, right? That's why we have to be on code, family. I may not agree with some of the shit that Black Lives Matter puts forth, but we on the same team. So we gonna go out and battle with each other. Then behind closed doors, I can let you know, maybe you can answer some of these questions I have about your organization. You feel me? So I appreciate what the sister did, but I don't think this shit gonna work. We should ask for shit before we give them our vote, and that asking should include money or something worth his time because a vote. I don't think that's worth any politics. Say, okay, you guys voted for me, now I'm gonna give you money. Now, because Ice Cube brought his plan for Black America to the Biden team, they said wait till after he gets elected. Now let's see. Now if they call Cube up, bring him in. If Cube can reach out to them and they're accepting of his ideals, we'll see. But don't hold your breath, family. it's much more advantageous if you look at your family and your community yourself. And I always say this, excuse me, you look at your family and your community yourself and you say, okay, what could I do to be of service to my community? What could I do to be an advocate for change in my neighborhood? Because relying on politics or relying on politicians to change your immediate situation, I don't know if that's a good idea, right? So for all of you who place your vote but don't do anything else, shame on you. You got to learn that you place your vote. That's one small part of revolution. That's one small part of instituting the necessary changes we need in our community. The other part is you. The other part is you doing what you need to do personally, right? This could be a whole bunch of shit. This could be volunteering for an organization. This could be starting an organization. This could be going to your old community and picking up garbage. This could be going to your old community and being involved in all the local politics in that community. This could be going in your community and talking to the gang members, talking to people who have a negative effect on the community at times. This can be learning about our history in detail and teaching it to people. Man, look, there are several different ways that you can be of service to the black community if you want to, right? But the key is, and the main point of that is if you want to. All right, so let's go. Next story.